Firmly grasp it. Firmly grasp it!
Hello, welcome to LTM Reviews to get you caught up on the oldest movies. Tom and Jerry, the movie. Now, before we talk about the movie, let's talk about Tom and Jerry itself. Oh man, I've had great memories with these characters. Tom and Jerry is not only the perfect example of slapstick comedy, but it's probably one of the best examples of how to do comedy. Tom and Jerry took a very simple concept and just took all of its Three Stooges humor and mashed it all into one big giant concept, and it really works. Tom and Jerry have been around probably since like the 50s or the 30s, I can't remember. And they're still popular even to this day, even if they've had some, well, spin-offs that nobody asked for. But you know what? Despite that, I still love Tom and Jerry. I remember the old cartoons when I was a kid. I remember going to my uncle's and my nana's house watching them on my TV screen on Boomerang when I was a kid. Oh man, Boomerang brings back so many memories. I also remember watching the Looney Tunes, and while I'm not a big fan of the Mickey Mouse cartoons, I still have nostalgic memories of those, though I do prefer Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry over the Mickey Mouse cartoons. But anyways, let's talk about the movie Tom and Jerry. So I guess the movie was directed by the guy who also worked on the How the Grinch Stole Christmas cartoon back in the 70s. And I don't know what else he's done. I think he's done a few of the Garfield specials, but I could be wrong. So in the movie, Tom and Jerry's owner accidentally leaves Tom and Jerry back at the house, and then their house gets destroyed, and then Tom and Jerry now have to figure out if they want to help each other or not. But then a dog named Pugsy tells them that because in order to help them survive, they have to be friends, and they end up being friends. Well, for half of the movie, they still argue and bicker, but they try to get along at some parts. Meanwhile, while trying to find their way home, they end up finding this little girl who has been abused by her nanny and her, I guess, stepfather or some guy. It's her butler, I guess. And now it's up to Tom and Jerry to protect this little girl and help her find her father that abandoned her when she was a girl. Okay, so yeah, that was a pretty complex plot. Okay, so let's get to the bare basics here. This movie has been renowned for this movie has been panned by critics and fans for making Tom and Jerry talk. That was the biggest criticism, and it has been considered to be one of the worst things Tom and Jerry have ever done. Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying that this is the worst Tom and Jerry movie. I will admit that this is not a good movie, and I will explain why. Let's start with the good stuff, though. I usually like to start with the positives. The animation in here is really, although 90s and kind of dated, it actually looks pretty decent. I mean, it's not Disney, but at least the animators were trying to make something good, and it really looks nice. Some of the backgrounds are decent to look at. The character designs are not too cartoony and don't go too over the top, mostly because it is kind of slow. And although I really can't stand some of the songs, I will admit there are like a couple that I don't mind listening to. That For Instance, the end one's going to be stuck in my head for a while. And I do like this one song that this pirate sings, which, although kind of annoying and unneeded, like most of the songs, I will admit that one has a nice melody to it. I do like the first 5 or 10 minutes where it just has no dialogue with Tom and Jerry trying to figure out if they want to help each other or not, are probably the best parts of the movie. Now, the humor's still pretty slow, but compared to the cartoons, but it still has a charm to it. But the part when you see Pugsley telling them to be friends, and that's when we meet Pugsley, that's where it goes downhill. Maybe if this was something like Shaun the Sheep, where it had where it tried to have a coherent story with just Tom and Jerry trying to find their owner, and maybe helping out with the girl without the dialogue. Like, it could have been like a buddy road trip movie. And while it tries to be, but it could have been without dialogue, and when it just had the little girl having the dialogue instead of Tom and Jerry themselves. And this may sound a little crazy, though I don't like the dialogue in this movie because it's awful, and the acting, although decent, just kind of really ridiculous. Although I don't like Jerry's voice in this, I actually did like Tom's voice played by Richard Kahn, which, I mean, he sounds like a wrong choice for the character, but he's not that bad in this, and I do like Richard Kahn's performance. The biggest problem with the movie is that how many characters were thrown into it. I mean, there were way too many characters that were either forgettable, generic, and I just really didn't give a crap about. I don't hate them, and they're not unlikable, but they're just, out of nowhere. And there's a climax where everybody's driving and trying to stop the little girl and Tom and Jerry. And it's, oh gosh, it's like this movie was on drugs or something. It just blew my mind. It's just bonkers. But anyways, overall, well, I don't think Tom and Jerry, the movie, isn't the worst. To me, it's kind of a mixed bag. I'm not saying that it's good, but I'm not saying that it's bad either. I'm somewhere in the middle with it. It's not a good movie at all, and it's definitely not a bad one. Compared to the other stuff that Tom and Jerry did in the past, that's saying a lot. Because I'd rather watch this than something like the Willy Wonka and the Tom and Jerry cartoon, or the one with Sherlock Holmes, or even the Wizard of Oz movies with Tom and Jerry. Yeah, those were insane. I need to get to those at some point, but overall, while not a good movie or not the worst, I'm just kind of split on it. I'm going to give the movie a 5 out of 10. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but there are worse and better things out there. So, that's my thoughts on Tom and Jerry the movie. What's your favorite cartoon? Please subscribe, comment below, let me know, like, share, you get the idea. Feel free to go check out my new short I made called Across the Plotagon Dimension. It's a really good short. I worked very hard on it. Also, I was going to do like a puppet/animated movie that was like Super Mario Logan in a way, but with my own characters. But that got scrapped because of budget issues and how much money I had to do it. Because, you know, the coronavirus and I don't have the money to do any of it. So I'm going to probably make another short, kind of like that Dimension one I made a while ago. So feel free to check that out, and I may do something similar to it. Alright guys, this is LTM signing out. I'll see you guys next time.
Got a shit. What do you mean it's coming out clean? Think I left the groceries on the roof. Well, at least it wasn't the eggs. Alright, grab the bag. One more time in Mama's mouth. Damn it, another cup of coffee! Woo! Who's ready for second dinner? Asiago! Paper plates! Hope you kids are hungry! You know, we still got 5 minutes of daylight left. Why don't we do the whole thing one more time to get ahead for next week? Ah! Hi, Donna! Mother... Ah! Shithead! I'm gonna shove these up my ass! Someone's got a lawsuit on their hands! Timmy, where the are you? Push faster! God damn it, I left it in neutral! Hold on, Mama needs to rest. Please stop staring at me.
This lady's here every day. It's so sad.
Leave me alone! I'm a mom making a difference! Another cup of coffee.